What is up, YouTube? Calvin from I-95 Muscle coming at you today. A little bit different video format today. This is going to be part of my LS Swap build series. I'm by no means a professional LS Swap guy, but I figured if I'm going to be doing one, I might as well go ahead and make it some content, put it out there for you guys to watch. So in this video, we'll do a quick little walk around on my 74 K5 Blazer, check out the drivetrain package that we have going in it, and talk about some of the do's and don'ts and maybe some of the issues that we run into along the way. So check this out. For the vehicle, we have a 1974 Chevy Blazer. This one's pretty solid. It's my personal truck. It's got some newer seats and stuff in it. Let's go ahead and check this guy out. It's starting to rain outside. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but shaved door handles, pretty cool. Automatic. It is a turbo 350 with a small block Chevy. It's a GM Goodwrench 350. Pretty run-of-the-mill, nice. It is a full convertible, so the convertible comes off all the way to the front windshield. That's cool. We got like some maybe 2002 Silverado seats front and rear, which is kind of cool because all the seat belts are integrated and nice and newer. We are running some 22-inch wheels on here. Let me close that door a little better. I do have the soft top for this thing. It's all back here. But we are running the 22-inch Boss wheels. Pretty good little setup. It does rub occasionally if you hit a bump just right. So I might try to address that in this video series as well. One thing that I absolutely hate about the truck, I don't mind the yellow. The yellow's okay. But when you pop the hood, it's like, it's very dirty, first of all. But under the hood, they painted this. They painted the fender wells, the inner fender wells, and they painted behind the grill is all like school bus yellow. It's not the same color yellow as the outside. So we might address that. I think all that stuff should be black anyway. There's your run-of-the-mill GM Goodwrench 350. All in all, it's a pretty nice setup, but nice and simple. We got loom where there's supposed to be wire loom. This was an AC truck, so getting AC back on it might not be too much of a challenge. I do see under here there is no AC condenser. We do have on the drivetrain that we bought a compressor and line, so we might be able to get that to set up and work well. Because I have shaved door handles, I'll have to leave a window down so that I can open the door while I'm working on this. Now, for the drivetrain, this is a 2013 LS3 out of a Camaro. It's not a L99, it's a LS3. There's no variable cam timing, and there is no AFM or active fuel management on this guy, so nothing to worry about there. Along with the stuff that I bought for the drivetrain like this, there is some stuff I have to do with the manual transmission. So this is the TR6060. Apparently it's like the newer version of the T56 Magnum. The new Vipers run it, Camaros, Corvettes run the TR6060. So it's made to handle, I think they said somewhere around 600 horsepower. Along with the drivetrain, the fuse box, the factory wiring harness, we got the factory ECM. This one is a E38. I think that's kind of run-of-the-mill for these cars. It only has two connectors, typically mounted inside the engine bay. Came with our O2 sensors and our gas pedal. What I thought was interesting was the gas pedal didn't have a whole lot of travel. So cool, we don't have to worry about having a long sweeping travel for that. I did purchase a high volume oil pump. It's a Melling to replace this oil pump. Apparently that's one of the failure points for the LS3s. I don't plan on running a cam or boost or anything like that. If I do, that would be later down the road. So pretty cool setup. It's pretty tight little package, little wider, I would say, than your average small block. So we'll do some fitting to get it in there. I know they sell the header kits that will just clear for square body stuff. I don't know if I want to do that yet. We're gonna look and see what we can do with this. And I know the compressor kind of has some interference with the frame, so we're gonna look and see if there's a solution to that as well. It would be nice to keep the factory compressor. This one had 54,000 miles. I don't know if I said that already. And along with the drivetrain that we purchased, we ordered a Tanks Inc. fuel pump kit, a Tanks Inc. fuel sender kit, which is made to use the 0 to 90 ohm like the GM factory fuel gauge. We needed the baffle for the oil pan. The oil pan should be here today, which basically takes the sump and moves it a little further back. And then the last swap that I did in my Suburban, I didn't post any videos of that one, but that was a LT swap, and I did a full conversion on the front drive accessories to run Dirty Dingo stuff. I don't think I'm gonna go that route this time. I think I'm gonna try to keep it as stock as I can, you know, just like you would have pulled it out. The cool thing on the Camaros or the LS3s is they do run a returnless fuel system, so you don't have to have a return to the tank. However, what I'm gonna do, or what most people do, is run a Corvette fuel filter pressure regulator on the frame rail. Fuel pump feeds to the regulator, and then it does return right back to the tank from the pressure regulator on the frame rail. So so we got like all our factory AC hookups, O-rings are still there and stuff, so that's cool. Good job, Hawks Motorsports, shout out to you guys. So as far as the harness goes, there is so evap purge canister, we can probably block that off. Here's your fuse block. I think these are your fuse block connectors, and then these two of those go to the fuse block. One of these goes to these two go to the ECM fuse block, and maybe fuse block or body control module. I'll have to figure that out. So all the connectors are in really good shape. They didn't break anything getting it out, which is pretty cool. Came with the trans harness, or the trans cross member. However, we are not going to be using this cross member. We're probably going to end up ordering a universal. I did order the trans mount. So the things on order I have are the trans mount, the engine mounts. I am going to have to order the wife checking on me. I'm going to have to order a shifter relocation kit. So normally these are mounted way back here for the Camaros, but in this case, you get rid of all this stuff, you pop this off, and you get a shifter that mounts right here, which should land it right in front of the seat. Now, if there's an issue with that, I do believe there is a relocation kit that will actually mount it forward some. But for me, thank you. That is a Red Bull slush. If you haven't tried one, you should get one from Sonic. No, just kidding, it's Chick-fil-A. Dang it. So, that's the drivetrain. Some of the other stuff that I ordered to go with that, I do have a Tanks Inc. tank on the way. That's the baffle for the oil filter, the oil pan. So the Tanks Inc. tank, so this truck is an automatic. So that's one of the things that I'm gonna have to deal with. Now, out here you can see there is no Z-bar setup. This was never a manual transmission truck. There's a couple companies out there making clutch pedal kits for these trucks. And in this case, we went with the Bowler Transmissions kit, which comes with a new pedal. You cut this brake pedal off and you weld on it's a small skinny brake pedal. and it's a whole kit so that you can hang a clutch pedal, and it runs full hydraulic clutch, made to work with the T56 and the TR6060. So pretty cool. I'm ready to get started. I'm gonna have a couple helping hands. I'm sure a couple friends will come by and help while we're doing it. Michael will probably be here in a little bit to help today. And again, I don't plan on rushing this process, but I might try to get it done for LS Fest. LS Fest is coming up in September. And yeah, I don't know what kind of hoops we're gonna have to jump through. One more thing that I did take into consideration, but I wasn't sure what we were gonna do. Since I'm not running that full aftermarket bracket kit from Dirty Dingo or one of the others, I am gonna have to figure out power steering. Now, you can run an electronic power steering, EPS out of like the Prius or the Traverse, or that's actually what the Camaros are running, and modify your column, your steering column and your steering shaft to accept the EPS unit, which would mount somewhere here, and it would electronically, there's like an electronic motor that's gear reduced, give you your power steering. Alternatively, and what I might actually end up doing, because it's going to be easier and probably the cheapest, is getting my hands on a Volvo power steering, electronic power steering pump. A lot of times you can mount those right here. They have a small controller. You would have a reservoir, an electronic power steering pump, and all that stuff mounts wherever you want it to mount, and you would just run your lines to the power steering gear. So it would basically be standalone from the engine, and it would actually kind of clean things up a little bit. As long as I just had that little pump here and a little bit of wiring to worry about, it would probably be the way to go. I've also heard that the Mini Cooper has an electronic power steering pump. I'm not sure which one has the higher pressure rating or easiest to wire or use, but we're gonna do that. So we'll do one of those things. So I wanted to go ahead and start by getting you guys an overview of what this swap is gonna entail, what it's gonna be, maybe how it'll be at the end. I'll try to get as much footage as I can, working on it, because that's the thing that I'm terrible at. I like to show up and start working on something right away and then forget to film everything. And I'm not a content creator, so I apologize for that. But maybe you guys will follow along. It'll be fun, and we'll all learn together. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop it down in the comment section below. And pretty much that's gonna be it till the next video. I'll go ahead and film some of the teardown, I think, today, and we'll get it posted soon. Thanks. I'm still working on trying to not let this GoPro make a bunch of noise. I know the microphone sucks. Like, picks up all the rattles and stuff. So, coolant draining, then we can pull the radiator, fan shroud, clutch fan, hoses. The heater hose is disconnected, so there's that. And then also, take a look at this guy down here. Fairly certain that wasn't supposed to be moving like that. So, fun stuff. We'll keep making progress. That's it for the coolant. We will continue yanking stuff off. when you're taking the shroud off, I could easily take those bolts off and just take the shroud off, or the mounts off by themselves and deal with the shroud later. However, never forget that there is, in fact, bolts right here that hold the shroud on. They say when righty tighty becomes lefty loosey. What about when lefty loosey becomes really loosey, but it ain't coming out? There we go. Look at that. Probably ain't gonna work very good. All right, let's see what this one holds. I guess it could be a 10mm. That would be the next size. Okay, let's go grab a 10mm and see if it's 10. You guys shouldn't have to listen to me grunt and groan. It's like I'm almost 40 or something. It's funny because I am almost 40. Would you look at that? I have 2 9s and no 10. Of course, the 10's always the one that's missing. So, take it out of here. All right. Oh, look at that. 10mm it is. Ta-da. Now we gotta get the clutch fan off, which should be probably this guy right here. You're gonna leave? Okay, buddy, I'll miss you. You're going to church? All right, love you, buddy. All right, too easy. All right, now we got all kinds of space in here. Check this out. Try not to rattle the microphone here. Okay, so we can pop this radiator out. And then, dang, looks like a tight fit to get to that. That bolt's gonna have to take the fuel pump off to get the bolt off. But no big deal. Water hose. Really, water hose, power steering hoses, motor mounts, and exhaust and bell housing bolts. But I may, depending, since I have this engine hoist here, it'll pick up 2,000 pounds, I think is what it's rated for, a ton. And yeah, lucky me, I moved into a house that had a beam that was shielded by sheetrock and wood. But I said, forget that stuff, and we just put that there. So anyway, since I do have the hoist that'll go up quite high, I might be able to just, when we take the hood off, tilt it really far and get it out that way. But we'll play it by ear. Well, I have another tech tip for you guys. For these lines here, I can tell they're already kind of buggered up. I could easily grab a line wrench or the right wrench, I tend to just go straight for these Cornwell pliers. I think I think Klein makes a set, and I know that it's either Matco or Mac makes a set. But the way the jaws are shaped, it's kind of like a pipe wrench. So the harder you push, the tighter it grabs. This thing will literally break bolts off. It's that easy. So it won't slip, it just grabs. So I'm gonna let you guys check a little demonstration of that thing out. So obviously there is a correct direction for these, but there you go. Will never slip. Now this does kind of like put some marks in the fittings, but in our case, we're not using these anymore. And also, pause this. Working on the truck.
You working on the truck with Pappy?
Not with Pappy. This is Daddy's truck. You want to say hi? There you go, buddy. Say hi to YouTube. Say hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
All right. Since we're not reusing these, I don't really care that they're marred up, but occasionally you will run across a brake line, power steering line, or a transmission cooler line that is completely rounded off, and it doesn't matter, you just need to get it off. In that case, use these all day long. Okay, back with a little recap. Radiator's out, fan shroud, all that stuff's disconnected. Got all that stuff out of the way. Now we're gonna go ahead and disconnect all the headers. Headers should be simple. We'll have starter wires to get. That lower radiator hose is already disconnected. Still dripping on the floor. We'll need to get that fuel pump off. I'm replacing all the fuel lines, front to rear, so won't need that. So we'll just go ahead and get started. Ew. Come on. Ah. Got it. All right. I'd say it was still leaking occasionally. Huh. All right. some real small flush cutters that were perfect for stuff like this, but I lost them in a Jeep accident. Story for another time. Okay, just got this header loose, but ladies and gentlemen, the great Michael is here to help us out. So he'll be helping us throughout the rest of this visit here today. Let's go ahead and get this hood off. All right, Michael is there taking off the U-joints. I already took a couple of the transmission cross member bolts out, or nuts. Let's go ahead and zip this guy off. Yay. All right, transmission's loose. Got a couple of wires on the starter and one more motor mount and maybe a couple little items, shifter linkage that would probably need to come off. All right guys, Michael coming at you with an update.
Well, since the last time you saw us, we were disconnecting the drive shaft, and since then we disconnected the transmission mount, and then in the engine here we disconnected the wiring to the alternator and the starter. We got the starter out of there, and we just unhooked some plugs and stuff that we didn't need, and we're just preparing to do the lift for the engine. So yeah,
let's get it out.
all right.
We forgot about trans cooler lines. We hit a snag, but luckily Michael is sacrificing himself. Do you need some different cutters?
And now the transmission fluid is on the fire, so it's making my grip not good.
Oh, get out from underneath there. What a bummer. Just don't taste it. Oh, and it's in here. Perfect. Hey, cool.
Nice.
Alright guys, I am buttoning up this video. Figured I would take a moment and talk about a couple of other things that we had not discussed yet. But this is the current state. So, empty engine bay, need to get rid of some exhaust manifolds for some headers and the exhaust and stuff. Still have kind of a mess in the garage, but I did receive the package from Bowler Transmissions, Bowler Performance Transmissions, so huge shout out to those guys. Here you'll see we got, let me turn this thing around. We have the Willwood clutch master cylinder and the mounting hardware and the reservoir and the lines and fittings you need, as well as the clutch pedal kit for the square body. So pretty cool little setup. That'll make that automatic a manual. And then I also did receive this from FabBot, which is the output flange adapter, converts from the fixed yoke Guibo mount, or whatever you'd call that, to a U-joint. So that's pretty cool. And the only thing I've kind of held off on was the shifter, because I'm not sure if I need the one that goes directly mounted right here or if it moves forward 4 inches or whatever it is. So yep, I'm pretty excited. Looking into some wiring harness options. Not 100% sure what route I'm gonna take yet. I am gonna ditch that whole fuse block. We don't need to run all that. So I will probably reach out and get a wiring harness. So, and I did land on going with the Volvo electric power steering. So from what I understand, if you're doing like an autocross type vehicle and you need that quick ratio, like left turn to right turn, sometimes the pump doesn't necessarily keep up with the demand, and you'll feel a little resistance when you cut from right to left. But because we're running a power steering gear, we're not running that rack and pinion. And let's be honest, I'm not really trying to autocross this thing. But that's gonna wrap up this video. Next time we will be getting a little closer to stabbing that thing in there, and hopefully we'll be making good progress. I have not received my tank, the oil pump, the oil pan, the pickup, the motor mounts. So there's a good handful of stuff we're still waiting on, but that's the current status. Thanks for watching, guys, and shout out to all those guys that do these longer format videos like Puddin's Fab Shop and Vice Grip Garage and all them. It really is hard to sit there and film yourself while you're trying to work on something. It's not easy. But until next time.